That is stupid. So, Ronna, go to hell. This is not about, no, go to hell. I'm tired of it, Ed. And for people to use Russian talking points to sow division among Americans, that is stupid. So, Ronna, go to hell. This is not about, no, go to hell. I'm tired of it, Ed. I know what's going on. They are scared of Democrats coming together to defeat Donald Trump. They need to be focusing on what we're focusing on, the Democratic Party, and that is preventing foreign interference in our elections. Stop using Russian talking points, Madam Chairwoman.
How did the Russians get into this?
To send a clear message to Russia.
Russian.
With Russia.
With Russia.
The Russian interference.
The Russian efforts to try to elect Donald Trump president.
Russia, the Russians.
Russia or Russians, the Russians.
With the Russians to undermine Russia.
Russian propaganda was being broadcast on TV directly from Washington.
With Russia, Russia, who put Russia under the control of Russia with Russia and Russia.
The Russians, say WikiLeaks, same thing.
Russia, first of all.
Russia.
With Russia.
Russia. What Russia did here. Russia in a Russian government. Russian government. Russia back home in Russia.
Russian propaganda! Russian propaganda! Do svidaniya!
Collusion with Russia. Russian officials. The Russia investigation.
Russia has the Russians in Russia.
For Russia today, though if certain parts of the Russian blackmail rumors are true,
The Russians felt like they needed to get him out.
So ridiculous.
Potentially spook the Russians in Russia to Russia, the Russians.
The Russian interference. Russian government. Russia has interfered. Russia was asked about Russia in the U.S. election.
The Russian WikiLeaks raised doubts in the minds of people who were inclined to vote for me, but got scared off.
Long history of ties to the Russian government, Russia, pro-Russian, frequent guests on Russian state media, Russian oil and gas interests, a Russian oligarch.
We have some breaking news stories tonight involving the investigation of Russian interference in our presidential election. Russia in Russian behavior. What has the Trump administration gotten from the Russians?
The Russia issue.
These are the Russian government's playpens. The idea of Russian influence.
Russia's hacked into a lot of things. Russia even hacked into the Democratic National Committee.
Stop using Russian talking points, Madam Chairwoman. Period.